Today, we're going to talk about what you can plant in August. And this is actually one of my favorite kind of planting calendars to share because it's got so many different dynamics. Because we've got things that are our last chance to plant. We've got some things that are new to our calendar. And on August 15th, we've got a whole new season of crops that we can plant. So as I share this with you, I'm just going to kind of go around also showing you the garden and some things that I'm about to plant, and just chat with you a little bit about those different things and all the craziness that went on this week. Because if you're like me, I got a lot of rain, I got a lot of monsoon activity that was really stellar and crazy. But let's get going on what you can plant in August and what's going on in my garden. I hope you're like me and you got any containers that you had and put out to catch water. Even my watering can is full, and hopefully like me you don't even need to use it for a couple days because most everything here is still wet. We had rain coming well into yesterday afternoon, midday, and had a nice nap. So this weekend I met up with Leslie and Angelina and Yvette at our favorite place, Summer Winds, and I bought a couple of plants. I bought this Armenian, and I bought this eggplant, and I bought this interesting melon. I can't remember the name of it. It's a early frame Prescott melon. And then the rest of these transplants were from Leslie. And so there's some pumpkins and there's some long beans. So that's, so I'm going to kind of be putting these out. And that's kind of what we're going to do. So another thing this week is that I had one zucchini left over here, and I was gonna go ahead and put a trellis on it because I wanted it to grow vertically, but I went over there to check it out and put the trellis on it, and lo and behold, something was feeling creepy in my guts when I went over there. And so when I flipped it over, I just used this to flip the thing up, I saw these telltale squash bug eggs. So I cut the plants down, and I don't know, I just didn't want these eggs to hatch anywhere. So, and it was too wet to set it on fire. So I just put them in this bag, and that way I can share it with you. So as we put these out here, let's talk a little bit about what we can plant. So the first thing we're going to talk about is last chance stuff. So for last chance, you're going to be able to get another chance at the Three Sisters through the 15th. So this part of my garden down here is kind of where I'm going to be focusing on my kind of last chance stuff. I'm going to redo this bed over here because the birds got in it. You can see they've really done some crazy stuff there, kind of taking down that whole slope. So I'm going to redo this. I've got an idea to keep the birds out until things can get sprouted, but that's my plan, is this half of my garden is going to be last chance stuff. So as far as Three Sisters goes, that's going to be your dried bean family. Think pinto bean, your black-eyed peas, cowpeas, things like that. Also your corn, sweet corn, and any dry corns that you have, and then pumpkin and winter squash. So then the next last chance things are going to be okra. You can do one more planting of okra. Something is eating this like crazy, but I'm kind of okay with it because it's not eating everything else like my Rosella hibiscus over here, which is kind of in the same family. So we're going to get another chance with the Armenians through the 15th. I'm going to tuck in a bunch of melons. So Armenians and anything in the melon family. And then one more round of basil and one more thing of tomatillas. My tomatillas just, I don't even know what happened. They just kind of tripped out on me. And then they got soggy in the rain and just stopped liking life. Then coming into new stuff that we can plant, that's when we're going to get into cool things like carrots, green onions, lima beans, snap beans, like your green beans is what I think of as snap beans, and then standard cucumbers, like kind of the ones that you see in the grocery store. We're going to be able to plant those for just a good solid month because they're kind of a short day thing. And then obviously, like I said, we're going to go into the 15th, which is when we can do everything. Now, I'm going to touch on this a little bit more in the coming weeks, making a video about this. Someone requested a conversation about days to harvest, knowing when to plant things. So I wanted to highlight real quick why it's possible and why we should be looking to start dropping these cold crops in the ground about mid-August and into September. And that's because if you'll look, you'll see here that, you know, things like Brussels sprouts and broccoli can take up to 130, 150 days. So that's, you know, that's like 5 months. So the prime time for us to really get our major plantings in are here in August and September, because the rest of the calendar is really calling for transplants. The main reason why you're going to see that shift in the calendar where all of a sudden it's calling for those cold crops to come in as transplants is going to be because of the shift in temperature. Because once we come into September, we're going to see about mid-month our nighttime temperatures are going to slip down into the 60s. Once we get into October, we're going to even be eking down into the 60s at night. So in the fall and winter, there's a harmony between the daytime temperatures and the overnight temperatures in relation to soil temperatures. So if you wait all the way up until October or November to start planting all these things just from seed outside, your germination rate is going to be so much slower and maybe not as successful. So that's why, if you think about last week's conversation, let's really use this time in August and September to start planting a little bit every single day, so that in 5 months we've got a lot of stuff coming in. So let's check out what's going on this side of the garden. And this side of the garden is where I'm going to be focusing on starting the cold crops. So we're going to take a look around here. My basil, and if I can, I'm going to tuck in a little video right here. Bunny Foo-Foo's discovered that she loves my bag of basil. She has basil in her lunch and breakfast regularly, but now she's just found a little home.
So toots. So is it yummy?
If anybody wants some seeds, I've got some seeds to share if you want to grow.
If you want to grow a little white bunny.
That's a fun little video about this basil. But I moved this bag up and it's getting more sun. It's happier. I got a little bit more zinnias going on. These peppers are staying happy. This one is starting to make more flowers, and this one's got bells all over it, and they're really kind of overripe because these are green bells. So again, in these bags here is where I'm going to start to come in and do broccoli, cabbage, kale, lettuce, cauliflower, kohlrabi, pak choy, all the lettuces. I'm going to start, this is going to be bunny heaven because all my lettuces are going to get going. You can bring in your kale now, and you know, and also in September, or for August 15th, you can also get another planting just for like a window of about a month. You could get another planting of zucchini, or you know, your summer squashes, which I'm not that hip to, especially with having this like little first time interaction with some squash bugs, because I don't really have much now except for the pumpkins that I'm gonna put in. So I might lay off of doing any summer squash right now, although I definitely am going to put some winter squash, you know, over there. So let's see. You can also put in celery, your Swiss chard collard greens, Mustard greens also, and also, like I said, through the end of August, about the 1st of September, you're still going to be able to do those standard cucumbers. So these are, you know, the tomatoes that I've got left. They're doing okay. They're not getting any kind of real sickness. I'm not too worried about the little browning. I've got a couple of tomatoes that I got over there, but otherwise, I'm not going to be introducing probably very many more tomatoes into the garden, and I'm going to start, well, for this season. But otherwise, like I said, we're going to go into broccoli and coleslaw time, which I think is really exciting. And I have to be honest with myself, we tend to eat broccoli more than any other vegetable. I mean, besides lettuces and salads and the stuff to go into salads. So another thing I would say is if you can find tomato plants right now, go for the cherry varieties, because they're going to be the ones that take the least amount of time to produce fruit that is ready to harvest. You don't want to go with anything big, like my favorites. But this is, as silly as it sounds, this is the fall and winter is the best time to have a great salad around here. So that's what you can plant in August, and I hope that you're ready to get planting, because that's what I'm doing all day today, because I'm going to use you as my accountability partner. So every week I better be able to tell you I planted this, I planted this, I planted this, and I planted this. So see you and happy planting. Well, I hope that was helpful and just a little bit entertaining, and more than anything, I hope you have the best day ever.